When the suburbs were built around the City of London, it was a fair carriage ride to Spitalfields in the north. These days, it's just a couple of minutes from Liverpool Street Station by hackney cab. There you can find an original Georgian house that's been rescued from decay to create a living demonstration of 18th and 19th century life. Out visum, out known. You either see it or you don't. Hope I do, whatever it is. The first inhabitants of Spitalfields were wealthy silk weavers, mostly of Huguenot descent. As you step over the threshold of number 18 Folgate Street, you're drawn out of the 20th century into their life. The cold, the dark, the smells, the sounds. This is not in any way a museum. It's something you experience like performance art, conceived, designed and arranged by an American, Dennis Sievers.
The house is early 18th century. The rooms move in periods as we go through, and what they catch is what was in the air. So almost like if somebody was producing a film, it would produce a set that was in keeping with the dialogue. So the rooms, as you go through them, are basically that you're going into a collection of atmospheres, and they really reflect the spirit of the day politically, religiously, in manners, and the way you imagine them.
The visitor's route is through 11 rooms occupied by Georgians to late Victorians. The food's real, the fire's burning, the bed's still warm, all apparent evidence of real lives. But these characters are purely figments of Dennis Sievers' imagination.
The game is this, that a family called the Jarvises, they've just left the room, and you even hear them, but you never see them. The servants didn't know you were coming, and therefore it's all in a state. They're merchant people, they're Huguenot descent. They're Protestant, of course, first and foremost. They're silk weavers, masters. They're very wealthy at some point, 5 generations of them, so they change with time. But what makes them interesting is the fact that they are disciplined to the spirit of their age. They follow all the different fashions of thinking and feeling during different times. Oh, look, there's her wedding ring. There's her letters this morning. There's her breakfast. She's putting on weight. You notice the little note let out here on her theme?
You know, I was expecting historical detail, but not quite this immediacy. It's so very personal. This is a room where a family of 6 lived, all crowded together, and there are all the little details that make it look as though they really have just left. For example, there are all the crumpled bedclothes, pretty dirty as well. Children's shoes scattered about on the floor, and the smells too. It's freshly cut onion, very pungent. And there's also a general kind of sweaty, mousy, ratty, festering kind of smell. And down here, there's an unemptied chamber pot, which makes it really rather too authentic. Dennis Sievers came to London from California 30 years ago with a passion for British history and a love of storytelling. The house was close to derelict when he bought it in 1979. Straight away, he set about dressing it for performance on a shoestring budget, less than £500. He claims it's true to the spirit of the age, but not slavishly accurate. There's an almost fanatical attention to detail echoed in the paintings, but not everything in the house is genuine, and if you concentrate on any one object, you're missing the point. After all, in the 18th century, they didn't make mouldings from plastic fruit, and they certainly didn't have bananas, but who cares? If Grinling Gibbons had seen one, he'd have copied it.
I could never afford very much. That helps a lot, you know. The fact that I didn't have any money to do anything. See, like the bed is made of polystyrene coving. There isn't a stitch in it. It's all made out of copy decks. And then lavatory rolls soaked in glue, and then upholstered. Even the mantelpiece, I took a pastry decorator in polyfilla and punctuated it. And there are, I think the top is chicken wire and plaster of Paris. There are bits of wood there, real 18th century junk, all sorts of things.
And this valuable collection of blue and white china.
Yes, it's all broken, chipped and cracked things on stalls that most people were too grand to buy. And then there's some Schiphol airport souvenirs. Some of it's made out of paper.
But if you do get those picky people who come in and say, ooh, I'm not sure...
They're in the wrong house. They're well catered to. We have more museums and homes open to the public than any country in the world. So there they are. What are they doing in Spitalfields?
Dennis's house isn't entirely a refuge from the present. He lives, sleeps, cooks and works here. Candlelight, open fires, chamber pots and all. But how does he manage?
I think I do probably like they did. They sent their clothes out to be done, and their bakeries baked for you. And so Marks and Spencer's really is probably the equivalent to 18th century life.
A fridge?
I do have a fridge. It was here before I got here. So it's the real antique here in the house.
And a telephone.
Yes, I have a telephone, and I have 2 electric light bulbs.
And the question I expect most people ask when they come here is, do you have a lavatory?
Oh, yes. I have a Thomas Crapper, and it's in the backyard.
So do you have feelings about what the reality is? Is the reality in here with the Brussels sprouts set to your kitchen table, or is the reality outside?
The reality is wherever you are. It's all around you. And I think it's amazing, the arrogance of people that can say, well, you don't live in the 20th century. Oh, yes, I do. This is a brand of the 20th century. New York is 1998, so is London, so is Ethiopia, so is Cape Town. And therefore, anybody who thinks they live in the past needs their head examined.
The lifestyle wouldn't suit everyone, but you can experience it briefly if you make an appointment and obey Dennis's strict house rules. But then it is his home, and as he says, you either see it or you don't.